Welcome back to Sonic Range, and to a longer form episode we're calling The Outer Range. This is where we step a little outside the mainstream and explore ideas that sit just at the edge of what we're comfortable calling music theory. I'm your host, Brian Logan. Today's question is a big one, maybe bigger than music. If we ever make confirmed contact with non-human intelligence, how do we even begin to communicate? And to help us not completely embarrass ourselves attempting to answer that, I've got Dr. Scott Van Hoffman here with me. Dr. Van Hoffman, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. It is a very kind introduction. But please, just Scott. If someone collapses in the studio, I will not be helpful.
Fair enough. Scott it is. Now, for listeners, Scott's work sits at the intersection of xenolinguistics and something called acoustic mathematics, which sounds like either the future or a very expensive mistake.
Yeah, I hear this often, but it is actually not so exotic. I am interested in how meaning can emerge without shared symbols.
Okay, that's already unsettling. Keep going.
If you take two systems, two intelligences, and they do not share language, culture, or biology, what is left? Mathematics, rhythm, pattern, structure.
Right, so the classic idea. You send prime numbers into space, you send frequencies.
Exactly, yes. Prime numbers are, how you say, difficult to fake. They are not cultural. They are not arbitrary. They are inevitable.
So that's how we talk outward. But in your recent work, you're kind of flipping that around.
Yes, I became less interested in what we send and more interested in what we might already be receiving.
Okay, define receiving before we have to bring out the tinfoil.
Yes, good. I am not saying messages. I am saying patterns.
Patterns in what?
In systems that should be more random. For example, if you take noise, radio noise, or large datasets of music, you can analyze these using compression.
Compression, like audio compression?
Similar idea, yes, but more general. If something is truly random, it is very difficult to compress. If it has structure, it becomes more efficient.
Right, that's information theory.
Yes, Shannon, Kolmogorov, this is not controversial. What is interesting is that some acoustic data compresses more than it should.
More than it should is doing a lot of work there.
Yes, I agree. So I try to quantify this. I look at rhythmic recurrence, harmonic alignment, spacing patterns, sometimes involving primes, and I define a simple index. Not perfect, but useful.
So you're basically scoring how suspiciously organized something is?
Yes. That is actually a very good description.
Okay, and where does this start getting weird?
When the same kinds of structures appear across independent systems.
Meaning?
Noise, folk music, modern digital recordings, different origins, different intentions, similar efficiencies.
Okay, that's uncomfortable.
It should be approached carefully. It does not imply intention or even intelligence specifically. It only suggests that randomness may not be sufficient explanation.
And this is where you bring in artists.
Yes, artists are sensitive to structure. They explore variation, but they also converge.
So you're saying music might accidentally hit these low entropy zones?
Not accidentally, but not intentionally either. More like alignment.
All right, give me the concrete example.
There is a musical group, a band, punk, I believe, with some, shall we say, interesting sounds, some human.
Some Human, yeah, we've covered them a bit.
They are very interesting case, not because they are special, but because they are, how you say, clean.
What does that mean?
Most music has intention layered on intention. It becomes noisy informationally. Some human, they leave space. They allow patterns to stabilize.
So they're album keepers, you're hearing this in there?
Yes, if you map the tracks, you see progression, psychological, perceptual, biological, observational, and underneath there are repeating structures. Not obvious ones, persistent ones.
Are you saying it's a message?
A message? No, not so much. I am saying this is what structured information looks like when it passes through a human system.
That seems, somehow worse?
Perhaps, but I must emphasize, I do not claim origin, I do not claim purpose, only that we may be observing something I'll call the convergence.
And if that's true, what are we converging toward? Do you mean like, what, the singularity moment? Or what?
Not so specific, or so narrowly defined, that is, you see, not yet a scientific question.
That's where you leave me?
For now, yes. The better question is, what is it that we can measure, without deciding prematurely what that means first, you see?
All right. Yeah, okay, that's better. I love that. That sits better with me, I suppose. Curiosity without commitment. If you're listening and you want to hear what Scott's talking about, go check out Keepers by Some Human. Whether you hear patterns or just a great record, and either way, your brain's going to do something interesting.
Keep your ears open, and your assumptions flexible.
That's the show. That's all the time we have, I'm afraid. Thank you, Dr. Van Hoffman. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And to our listeners out there, if you like what you've heard today and want to hear more, please remember to like and subscribe so we can continue to bring fascinating discussions like this to you with new content every Thursday. I'm your host, Brian Logan. This has been a special broadcast of Sonic Range: The Outer Range. See you next time.